Lesson 5.4 ICH Guidelines, the International Harmonization Framework. The US, EU, and Japan each have their own regulatory systems. But the ICH, the International Council for Harmonization, has spent decades developing guidelines that allow data generated under one agency's oversight to be accepted by the others. In this lesson, we survey the key ICH guideline families that shape clinical trial conduct and submissions. ICH guidelines are developed through a four-step process: draft, consultation, sign-off, and regulatory adoption. Once an ICH guideline reaches step 4, the participating regulatory authorities are committed to incorporating it into their own national regulations. This is what makes a global trial viable. A clinical study conducted in Japan under PMDA oversight can generate data that the FDA and EMA will accept because all three agencies have adopted the same ICH E6 GCP standard. The E series covers clinical guidelines. E6 is good clinical practice. We covered this in Lesson 5.1. E3 defines the structure and content of clinical study reports, the detailed narrative that documents each trial for a regulatory dossier. E8, R1, provides general considerations for the design of clinical trials, emphasizing quality-driven, fit-for-purpose study design. E9 covers statistical principles for confirmatory trials, and its R1 addendum introduced the Estimand framework, which has become central to modern trial design. E10 addresses choice of control group. E11 covers pediatric studies. E14 specifies the thorough QT study design used to assess cardiac safety. E17 provides principles for multi-regional trials. And the E2 series, E2A through E2F, covers the entire pharmacovigilance reporting ecosystem. Individual case safety reports, periodic safety update reports, development safety update reports, and signal management. These are the guidelines that govern what happens when adverse events occur during a trial. ICHM4 established the Common Technical Document, the CTD, a globally harmonized format for assembling a marketing authorization dossier. The electronic CTD, eCTD, is now mandatory for submissions to the FDA, EMA, and most major global agencies. It is, in practical terms, the universal language of regulatory submissions. The CTD has 5 modules. Module 1 is administrative and regional, forms, labels, and country-specific documents. It is the only module that is not harmonized. It looks different in the US, EU, and Japan. Modules 2 through 5 are harmonized worldwide. Module 2 contains the CTD summaries, the Quality Overall Summary, Non-Clinical Overview and Summaries, and Clinical Overview and Summary. These are written by the sponsor and are the first thing a reviewer reads. Module 3 is the Quality or CMC section, Drug Substance and Drug Product Manufacturing Data. Module 4 contains non-clinical study reports, the animal data. Module 5 contains all clinical study reports, every human trial conducted during development, formatted according to E3. It is by far the largest module and the core of the marketing application. Understanding the CTD structure is essential for anyone in clinical operations, regulatory affairs, or data management, because every deliverable you produce during a trial will ultimately become part of one of these 5 modules.